we're going to look at everything we can. We're going to be selectively aggressive. We obviously, there's things in this league you have to, you have certain amount of resources they allow you to have, and we'll look at that. But we're going to try to improve our football team. Not try, we're going to improve our football team, and we expect to have success next year.
Selective aggressiveness. I believe it when I see it. The Dallas Cowboys are lying to you. For decades, Jerry and Stephen Jones have gaslit these fans into believing that they're cap-strapped, they're building the right way, but the truth is far uglier. This is a team that is addicted to excuses, allergic to accountability, and terrified of real competition. Today in this video, we will be exposing the fraudulent subjects that the Jones family continue to feed this entire fan base, and showing why in the future, if they don't change their ways, there's another generation of stars for the Cowboys that will be doomed. Let's start with the biggest lie: the salary cap.
Can you do the things you want to do in free agency with his cap number at 59.5?
Well, we got ways to adjust his cap for this year. So, we are, obviously between Dak and between Micah and CeeDee, it's, the salary cap's real for us.
Oh, shit.
I had to go back and see what we did when we had $90 million in cap space. And what he did was he drug out, it's a principle. He drug out the negotiation standpoint from Dak Prescott until all of the free agent stuff dried up. So what he's going to do on March 13th, if they don't extend Dak Prescott before that time frame, he's going to say the reason why I didn't take a fly at Danielle Hunter, or I didn't take a look at X, Y, and Z player, is because we're still negotiating the people in-house first.
For you to understand the points I'm finna hit on today, you must understand how the Joneses run this organization. The Joneses run the Dallas Cowboys like a family mom and pop diner. There's no innovation, there's no risk, there's just recycled nepotism and stubbornness, that they'd rather promote the nephew who burns the fries than hire a real chef. And on the field, they overpay their guys rather than seeking any type of outside help. And we've seen this countless of times. If you don't know about your Dallas Cowboys, the way we roster built our team is that we draft and develop.
You mentioned Overshown earlier. Who are some of the, and Mozzie, who are some of the guys in their first or second year kind of in that position that make you comfortable with the relative lack of activity in free agency?
Well, a guy like Schoonmaker, I think, is going to step up, and he's only going to keep getting better. Another tight end, John Stevens, who we really liked, before he got hurt in the preseason. So these things just evolve. Young players come around, and, we've got a good group of guys who are on the practice squad last year. Wanye Thomas was one of those guys the year before who then stepped up and played a big role on defense. There's, a group of players that will have, that'll have their chance to step up and make a difference. You got young guys who didn't play a lot. You got receiver like Brooks when you may be looking at losing a guy like Gallup.
Now, I'm not saying that this is the only norm that teams team build in this way, but the Cowboys draft and develop to an extreme, and the mantra that they hide the true team building mantra behind is called the Our Guys philosophy. So it's a phrase that's been coined by Boss Cowboy Sports, and it basically shows that the Cowboys will go to the extremes. We even break morals and regular team building strategies in order to keep their guys. You don't believe me? I will bring up some examples that Stephen Jones have said from his own mouth. If you remember, the Cowboys tried to, get outside linebacker help with Dan Quinn, and he tried to bring in a guy he used to coach in, Bobby Wagner. But Bobby Wagner even said it that, hey, you know, it almost went through, but it didn't go through. And what did Steven mention? Who was the guy he mentioned that the reason why he didn't get Bobby Wagner? Oh, it's because he would get in the way of guys like Leighton Vander Esch. If you remember, we did bring in defensive tackle help this current, you know, offseason, even though it wasn't the best of the best. We did bring in size, but it was a random occurrence that happened in the middle of the season, and I was on that side as well. I believe the narrative as well, where a guy ended up, you know, mistakenly having a wrist injury and ended up being cut like midway in the season, and ended up going to the Buffalo Bills and actually being a key contributor to the team. And in an interview, he mentions these words: "It feels nice to be wanted." That guy was Jordan Phillips, and you know the guy that they ended up bringing up, who Jordan Phillips was getting in the way of? Mozzie Smith. Then you got where our guys literally got in the way of our own roster development. Let's go all the way back to 2018, 2019, when we had a future. I think we pretty much started the wide receiver duos, and we had Amari Cooper, remember? But there was a guy that was coming up for a contract, and it was a guy that during this contract, he got hurt, and we prioritized him over Amari Cooper, and that guy was Michael Gallup. Yes, we prioritized paying Michael Gallup than keeping Amari Cooper, a injured Michael Gallup, might I add. Didn't even happen this past year. Some people might add with this. We were supposed to binge draft the running back, right? Last year, 4th rounder, 5th rounder, we were supposed to binge draft the running back. And who's a guy that came in that they pride themselves? I'm like, oh, we don't want another running back. We got Ezekiel Elliott. And I love Ezekiel Elliott, even though this year was pretty controversial, but the fact that they picked Ezekiel Elliott over another young running back is another example of this our guys philosophy winning. I didn't even mention our coaching process, how we hire guys. We only go for the desperate hires, or it's the retreads. We had a situation where Whitson, thank God we banded together as a fan base, where Jason Witten was going to come in and be on this coaching staff, be considered for a job after coaching just high school level football. And you're saying, Lou, it is wild. We ain't seen this before, but we have seen this before. The player coach mantra, we've seen it with Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett was a player for this Dallas Cowboy team that the Joneses love, and they was going to bring in because he was familiar, and they literally showed the ropes, and next thing you know, he's the guy taking over Wade Phillips. And also, that brings me to my next comparison. Mike McCarthy and Wade Phillips, similar endings, similar, type of retreads. We got the guy because they had, stripes on the wall, but it's the same, narratives around their names when they're leaving, that these guys that, they lost the locker room, or Wade Phillips is the only guy that Jerry Jones ever fired, and he never even fired Mike McCarthy. But you can tell he did quiet quit on Mike McCarthy. The fact that he didn't do anything this past offseason. This our guys philosophy is a great example of how nepotism and this entitlement is bleeding in to our football team. So why am I mad about this nepotism and why we prioritize it? Because the Cowboys have a tendency of paying their role players before their stars. It's kind of backward. It's paying your role players first is like buying a lawnmower when your house is on fire. The Cowboys prioritize their guys like Osa Odighizuwa and Micah Gallup over their stars like Dak, CeeDee, and Micah, and cry poverty the entire process, when in reality they could have signed their stars a lot earlier and a lot cheaper. I'm going to expose why. This right here is the reason why I'm pissed with this football team. The fact that they do this to create excuses is what we're going to be dive deeper in today. You might ask, Luke, why should the Cowboys cry poverty? I mean, they do have a lot of stars where they should play. Well, look at this graph right here. You saw it in the thumbnail. The NFL salary cap has been growing at an astronomical rate. It is up $30 million from 2023. It is currently at $255 million. And it's been a steady increase, a steady incline every single year. Matter of fact, there's only been one time it's dipped, and that was in the 2021 season. But it's been a steady incline. The fact is that these guys wait to pay their big money guys and complain about it, and the fact that their cap is growing is actually ass backwards, if you ask me. Like, the cap is growing. The guy that you pay him at a certain time stamp and the cap is growing, it's only going to make more room and going to make your initial investment not seem that bad to begin with. And this is information you should know. Fun fact, do y'all even know who helped started the salary cap? It was Jerry Jones. He helped start the salary cap after he took advantage of not having a salary cap and actually won Super Bowls when he was aggressive. The moment he helped start the salary cap is the moment that he got pretty lax. Like, that's real interesting. That's real interesting. Now, why I have to call out Stephen Jones is because when we ever bring up any type of, cap related questions, he always mentions, it seems like he always generalizes the answer to the question. Oh, we dealing with a unique situation here. We have to pay multiple stars. And when we bring up questions about specific teams that are in similar situations, or even probably you would think they're in worse situations, like how they're managing the camp and you're not, Steven. How is that? And I just wanted to bring up the teams he always bring up. We always compare it to the Eagles, of course, our arch rivals. They just won the Super Bowl, and they have, when you talk about roster talent, it's not even close to what they have versus what the Cowboys have. They have multiple Pro Bowlers, multiple guys that are the best at their position, and you look over here, we look deprived, and we had a wave of free agents leave before, and now we replaced it with rookies, which rookies are cheap, and we had another wave that's going to leave now, and this is where our frustration lies. The Cowboys, compared to the Eagles, when it comes to cap space, we have less cap available than teams like the Niners and the Eagles. Even like teams like, I bring up teams like that because those are teams who are aggressive. They actually go and pay guys. They pay their guys early, and they somehow have more cap available than you, who have probably 2 times less talent overall on a roster. We're not talking about quarterback for quarterback. We're not in individual position. I'm talking about 2 to 53. They have more guys. Why is that? They're spending more than you. So why are you, on paper, don't have more cap space than them? But first, let's answer this question. How do the real teams operate? How does Howie Roseman do it? How do John Lynch do it with the 49ers and Eagles? What is the blueprint? What is the strategy? Well, let's start with the quarterback, because there's a lot of Cowboy fans, a lot of guys who don't know. They actually automatically blame the quarterback. Oh, Dak is getting paid $50 million this year. And every time y'all tell me in the comments, I tell you to look at Google. Here it is. The article's here. Jalen Hurts signed a 5-year, $255 million contract, okay, and I was guaranteeing him around $51 million a year. $51 million a year. Signing bonus really doesn't matter. The guaranteed, keep that noted. 179, basically like more than half of his contract is guaranteed. I just want you to pay attention to this. This is where the roster construction, the cap budgeting, this is the difference between the Cowboys and the Eagles. I just read you off how much ESPN is going to report that he's getting paid, the surface level. When he signed the contract, it said he was supposed to make $51 million a year. But look at this. Where's the $51 million at? We're looking at the guaranteed salary. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Oh, look at the guaranteed salary. He signed his contract when? $1 million is guaranteed. Another $1 million is guaranteed. $42 million is guaranteed. But the cap number, the cap hit, is what I wanted you to pay attention to. The 6 million, 13, 21, 31, 42, 47, and then 97. Is there a difference to there? Is there a pattern that you're seeing? They're actually backloading the contract, and this is in 2029. Jalen Hurts can probably not be on this team in 2029, but if he is on the team, what they're gonna do is they're going to do what they did for 2023 and do it in 2029 and continue to push the money back towards the back. And you know what they do? This is why this last column to the right, this dead cap savings is actually what I want you to pay attention to, because that is how these teams get away with it. They backload the contract all the way to the back of the years and eat the money when he's no longer on the team anymore. Why is that? Mainly because if he's on the team, he's our quarterback. or he's their quarterback, excuse me, and he wants to, you want him to be successful. You want to maximize his time here. You want to win Super Bowls. Well, okay, we'll pay you your money what you're worth. You're going to get your money soon, but you're not going to get your money now. You're going to get whatever is needed now to help you suffice. And all your money you're going to get when you're retired or you're gone or you're past your prime, because we are trying to maximize you, the investment. We are not paying you all the money and saying, take us there. Do you see it? This is the Super Bowl winning Eagles right here. This is their mark. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing it? Because everyone keeps telling me that they never see it. Okay, well, maybe you didn't like the Eagles example. Let's give you another example. How about the Rams? Stephen Jones always mentions how the Rams, when they went in and won that 2022 Super Bowl or that 2023 Super Bowl, how they went all in. If you remember, they cashed in. They got Von Miller. I think they got Odell. They cashed in on that year, and actually they paid off on that aggressive mindset. And Stephen Jones claimed that they would not be back. They would be pretty much, reaping for what they sown on those previous years. But if you've seen, the Rams were just in the divisional playoff game this past year. They were actually considered contenders when you're competing for that, if you didn't know. And the draft picks that they had since, oh my God, since going to Super Bowl, they're back ahead of you, even with cashing in, 2 to 3 years ago? Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, Kobe Turner. Those are hits. Those are hits. And why is that? Why are they hitting on their draft more than you, the draft and develop team? Please tell me that. I think it's because it comes down to one single thing. They participate in free agency. They don't neglect outside help. When you go into the draft already having holes, filled or met, you don't draft from a place of pressure. You don't draft from a place of, nervousness. You don't, and in turn, you don't reach in your picks. I think that's what's been missing from the Cowboys this past year. We've been drafting guys to replace Tyron Smith and putting all this load on to, our rookies. Or we're drafting a guy to come in and replace, or not fill in for Trayvon Diggs and putting all that pressure on the rookie. We do best when we draft BPA. That's how we got Micah. That's how we got CeeDee. That's how we got almost all our players, when we're drafting from a comfortable position. And why did we change from that and go more extreme? I don't know. So Lou, how do you fix it? How do you? Well, right now I got this graphic up. I'll show you that we are right now. We have only 2 million opening cap. That's why it looks utterly disgraceful that how much money we have. But with these moves, we can free up almost 98 million, almost 100 million available. We can go from 2 to 102. If you restructure Dak Prescott's deal, if you restructure CeeDee Lamb's deal, 37 million, 20 million. Restructure Terrence Steele, knock that down to 9 million. Restructure Trayvon Diggs, knock that down to 5 million. If you extend Micah Parsons right now, you need to pay Micah first. Forget Osa. That Micah's your centerpiece. Everyone with this trade talk is beyond me. Do you know ball? I have to ask everyone that. Y'all don't understand how different our defense looked when he was off the field? We couldn't generate anything, no type of pressure. It was night and day. And last year, I know it's a blur. But guess what? When he was there, our defense had life. Our defense had swagger. It had a hell of a damn rush. And you don't trade players like this. What is this? What is in the water in Dallas? I'm sorry. What is in the water? Why did we trade our superstars, our generational superstars? You waited with CeeDee, you waited with Dak, and you waited till they got to their highest and peak value. The stock was at its highest. Micah market is projected to be between 30 to 40 million. You need to pay Micah now. But until then, when you do what you're supposed to do and free up all that money, here is some realistic targets you can go for the free agency coming up, because that's the only way we're going to have some life going into the season. The first name I got up is Nick Bolton, the linebacker from the Chiefs. His projected cost, according to Spotrac, is $12.3 million per year. On the year, he has 73 tackles for 3 sacks. When I watch him on film, this guy is a dissector. He's smart and he plays with an attitude. And he's bringing that championship mantra type, level of play from the Chiefs. You need that in this locker room. We need a culture change. We have a new coach. So now everything is kind of, a question mark in the air. Let's kind of reform that and get in some well-needed vet depth in a position. And we need the help at linebacker. We have no direction at linebacker right now. And Overshown is hurt. I'm very hurt. We got Louisville. Kendricks is not coming back. You need linebacker. You need linebacker depth. Next, I got Milton Williams, D tackle from Philly. Yes, poach your rivals. His projected cost is $12 million a year. He had 11 tackles and 5 sacks. This is it's a quality 3 tech that you're picking up. This is gonna be a very good pickup, a solid pickup. In my opinion, I prefer him over Osa Digizua because Osa's market is too high right now. And I believe Milton is low key better than Osa. Just being real, because what Milton has done at his low snap percentage and what you see on film, there's potential there. People say, "Oh, his stats are low." He was a rotational piece behind some guys, Jalen Carter, that's a real DT right there, man. And Philly had at least 4 good DTs, and to even get on the film or get on the field is a blessing. And I feel like he can do that. And then lastly, it's a guy that everyone's been pretty much talking about. Will Hernandez at the guard. Projected cost is $4.3 million. We need some interior help. Even I want him even coming in as a backup because Stephen Jones just came out and said that they're considering actually moving BB back to guard. So you still need I need that interior help at the interior position. Guy he came in. He's coming with Clayton. If he can stay healthy, he can be a strong guy with a good punch, great run, hat play side, great footwork. Hopefully he can keep that strength even post injury. But I feel like he can come in and be, and he's familiar with the system. We're gonna be running a lot of run plays, a lot of pulling of the guards, a lot of movement, a lot of action. Will Hernandez will be there. And I'm stopping there with free agency. I got some trades that you can do too. Because I'm asking you to pick up 3 guys, and then maybe trade for one of these guys I'm gonna mention, or 2. First up, I've been preaching this in a while. Trey Hendrickson from Cincinnati. Cincinnati looking like they're a cheap organization, and I don't know if they're going to be able to pay him, and he's looking disgruntled. That's a good 4-3 base guy to get in here and let's run up on the side of Micah, and that should be, I don't want to say that should be your priority, but it should be your secondary priority after this guy right here. Please, if you want to win back the Dallas Cowboy fan base, us content creators, us, Dallas Cowboys Nation, you need to trade for Myles Garrett. I do not want to trade Micah for Myles Garrett. I want Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons. If you can do that, we can have probably one of the greatest defenses that we've ever seen in our lifetime. Doomsday Defense Part 2, the way that the attitude Myles Garrett's going to play with, that's 2 defensive player of the year candidates on your opposing team. There's only 5 offensive linemen on the field. They can only double, realistically, 1 guy at a time. If they have 2 guys that are nuclear player alerts, 2 guys who are at the top when it comes to the scouting sheet, it's going to keep those teams up at night, and you already won the mental battle before the game's ever started. That is a win now type of move. Money ain't the problem here in Dallas. It's not the problem. The problem here in Dallas is the Joneses, need to cling on comfortability and chase, and we need them to get uncomfortable just a little bit. I say it all the time. Osa's right now, kinda he's fooling them because he's having a contract year type of performance. I wish my front office can operate like Osa did in his contract year. Like, go the extra mile. You know what I'm saying? And we need them to do all these things so they can stop hiding behind these excuses. The Cowboys' problem is that they try to generate excuses on purpose in order to be lazy. Last year, we caught you in your act. You were lazy. Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, y'all were lazy. Y'all didn't want Mike. You did want Mike McCarthy, but you didn't even try last year. You let half the team walk away, and you replaced them with rookies and thought we were going to do something. And now you're gonna sit here and probably think and blame it on injuries. Injuries were a thing, but even with new, data, you still didn't do anything post-injury. That was a lazy job by y'all this offseason. If you made it this far, make sure to like and subscribe the video. Make sure to comment down below. Listen, also, we want Micah to get paid first. So do us a favor. Join the movement. Join it on Twitter, Instagram, everything like that, even YouTube. For Micah, if you want to support Micah, put hashtag 877 pay Micah now. Now, to join the wave of the Cowboys becoming a win now situation and trading for Myles Garrett, put a hashtag for Project M&M 2025 or hashtag pressure for pressure. Make sure to join the mindset. Y'all, the Cowboys front office, they pay attention and they watch what movement. Your voice is powerful. I want you to remember that your voice is powerful. Your voice kept Jason Witten from even getting a job here and Kellen Moore. I'm telling you that right now, and I'll leave it on that. Until next time, peace.